right, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're still going to have more people joining us. Welcome to our SCASTAC Spark sessions, the TED Talk. We're going to be having a few of these, at least maybe once a month, where we talk about different technological things out there, whether it's AI, cybersecurity, you know, moving into tech or coming in from a different field into tech, and so many different subjects. So, today we're going to be looking at some key items over here. We're going to be focusing mainly on AI, how we can use AI to progressively and easily build beautiful websites, how we can create auto-generated AI voices, how we can create videos from images, or actually prompt the AI to actually create fantastic images for us. And then we'll also be talking about angel investors as well too. How do we successfully connect with angel investors? What are some things to be aware of when we are trying to connect with angel investors, especially if you're building a business, a brand, or a technological company? How do you connect with angel investors to invest in your company and have you scale, to the level you want to with your businesses? Okay. So we'll kick off over here with our PowerPoint slides to get us, pretty much welcome to the TED Talk, David and Adeniran. Welcome. Please let me know at any point in time, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can also send your questions to, if you're busy in the background, you can also send your questions using the Zoom chat as well too. I'll be aware of that. You can also raise up your hand as well too if you have any questions, and I'll be available to answer any of your questions. Okay, so let's kick off over here. Welcome in, Tinuke. All right, so let's kick off. So over here, we're going to kick off with a quick PowerPoint slide that would give us some very key and smooth understanding about what our agenda is today, and give us a theoretical understanding before we start looking at some very fantastic tools. Over here, we have what we call Midjourney. It is used to create videos from an image or create an image right out from a text. Very, very fantastic. And that's why you're seeing a lot of beautiful background over here. So for example, if you wanted to click on this, you could see this and you could see that the prompt, what we call prompts, which we'll talk about. So the prompt is when you give an AI like ChatGPT or Google AI model a command to create certain things. So that right here is telling us that that prompt we selected on was created based on this, that imagery or video we're looking at was created basically from this text prompt right there, which is an hyper-realistic scene of people suddenly disappearing mid-action, leaving behind clothing, and all of that information. All right. So you give a text and it can generate a video for you or an image for you. Okay. So pretty cool concepts right there. All right. And then we also will be looking later on at what we call 11 Labs. 11 Labs is a very, very cool tool that is used in creating audio prompts for you. You can basically create your own type of custom audio prompt, or you can use audio prompt from other people. So basically what this means is if you want to say create a YouTube content or write an audio book, but you do not want to use your voice, you want to use a voice from different options that they have over here, you'll be able to see how we do that. Then there's also another example over here where we use this thing called Eraser.io that uses diagram GPT. So over here, you can create any type of diagram you want. And over here too, it also gives you options to load certain types of presets. So if you're trying to create a diagram that's based on a Twitter data model, a Node.js expense report builder, and e-commerce, SQL, architecture. So many things you can do. You can create any type. So we're going to be testing these things today. We're going to be having fun. And then also too, we have our one of the examples we're going to be using today called Replit, which can allow you to basically create websites fast and easy without having any knowledge of any code at all. and then you continue to prompt the computer till, your website gets completed. Basically, you continue to give it more information till it gets all of your pages right, so you can create an e-commerce website. That is a website kind of like, if you want to sell wigs, you want to sell clothes, you want to create an informational website for your business, you can pretty much do anything by just talking to the AI, putting in your command in here, and the AI will give you that information. So we're going to be looking at some of this fun stuff. We also have another one we're going to look at briefly that is called express.adobe.com. Yeah, if you want to create business cards, you want to create nice flyers, you want to create documents, certain videos, you can pick up from those videos, you can edit them, move things around, and you can take your AI audio and place it even on this video. You can also take your AI audio and then you can use it with Mid-Journey. You can, once you create your video over here, you can now attach both of them together using Adobe Express to do what? To merge your AI voice over your AI generated video or Adobe Express created video. So there's a lot of fun things we're going to be looking at today. Okay. So first things first, we want to take a look at our PowerPoint slide and get ourselves a little bit, familiar with what our point of action is today. So we're going to be talking about some things such as AI website technologies. We're going to be looking at angel investors, how we can get angel investors, one or two things we need to know that could make us very successful and make life easy for us when we're trying to get angel investors to invest in our businesses. Then AI automated voices. We're also going to be looking at AI generated videos and then AI diagram creators. Okay. So welcome again. Welcome in Adebanja. Welcome. Welcome in Dujuan as well too. So yeah, you guys as you join, please let me know if you have any questions. You can always feel free to mute your mic. Feel free to raise your hands or send a message in the chat. So today's focus is going to be on three key areas, even though it's like about five. But first of all, building full functioning website with an AI. Then another is connecting with angel investors for business growth. And then the other is generating AI audio over AI videos for content creation or even business purposes, technological purposes, college presentations, just name it. You can use that for any of those, okay? So what exactly is the power of AI in today's world as we live in? Many of you would have noticed these days, you might see some content and you might actually even question yourself and say, is this content actually real? Because, you might see a picture of a celebrity, or a video of a celebrity, and it might not actually be the real celebrity, that might just be an AI generated version of that celebrity. So AI is getting very, very powerful. Now, one very important thing to know is that behind AI, the people who are creating all of these things, they are mostly called AI engineers or artificial intelligence engineers or artificial intelligence and machine learning engineers. This is a training that we do, give or, we do offer at ScarStack Solution, where we teach people how to be machine learning engineers so that they can, from the back end, they can build, their own AI, platform, whether they're creating chatbots, they're creating an audio platform for AI, so many other things that they can do, once they finish those practical hands-on IT trainings. To use technologies, kind of technologies we use in training them. First of all, machine learning and deep learning is the key part. But even within that, they learn how to, query the database. They learn how to use Python, scikit-learn, PyTorch, TensorFlow, Google Vertex AI, MLflow. So all of these different tools and technologies, they use it to, create any type of AI that they would want for, and then that also gives them the ability to work with all of these companies. The machine learning engineer is the number one tech job on planet Earth right now. So very, very, very hot right there. So for those who are interested in IT trainings, definitely reach out to me or my team. Look up for our company, ScarStack Solution Inc. and get in touch with us. Okay, but let's jump into today's item. So it's telling us that AI is transforming how we build, scale, and monetize ideas. And this is actually very true because even in today's world, a lot of people, a lot of companies are laying over a lot of people because they are using AI to replace the jobs of those people. So that's definitely something you want to be, aware of in case you're in any job position where that might be a threat, either now or in the near future. So always put that at the back of your mind and always continue to learn and do new things so that you don't get caught up in that that sort of situation or scenario. Okay. And so it's also telling us that AI makes a lot of things very fast too, So imagine back in the days, you couldn't build a website if you didn't know how to be a software programmer. And right now you can just give the computer a few commands and they'll be able to create that for you immediately. And then of course the AI is not totally perfect. So you begin to communicate with it through text prompts to say, oh, you know what, I want it this way, or I want to change this feature to be much more better, to be much more robust, to be much more user interactive. I want to add an extra page on my website, for shopping or for communication, such as your Instagram and Facebook post. So there's a lot of things, and so all of this lets us know that anyone can now build like a full team with the right tools. You're just one person building a website, and you don't even have to have any knowledge about knowing how to write any single code. The website does everything from the front end to the back end and stores your information in the database. So those are key things to be aware of, okay? So as we move down over here, it tells us as an example things we need to know, right? When we're building full functioning websites with AI. And in this example, we're going to be using, or in this scenario, rather, we're going to be using Replit. And there are many other tools out there, but in this case, we're going to use Replit. So in this case here, you can use an AI-powered platform such as Replit, right, to build your website by giving it instructions. It will help you generate your front end and back end for your website instantly. For some of us who might not be familiar with what front end and back end is, I'll simply put it this way. The front end is what you see when you go to a website, right? You go to your bank's website or you go to like facebook.com, you're clicking things, you're logging in, you're liking your friends' posts. That's the front end, the things you can see. The back end is the code technology that makes everything in the front end work. And so the combination of both of them is what makes your website, web application, mobile apps, everything you use, web apps, makes them work. Furthermore, down the lane, there are other things we call such as APIs. But don't go, we're not going to go too deep into that. And then furthermore into that, your database as well, to where the data is sitting, or sometimes storages, which we call cloud storage, where data is sitting, whether it's a video data, picture data, or just informational or text data. So what AI is so powerful, it takes care of all of this. You don't even have to know about all of those things. So it takes care of all of those issues for us, and then you're able to instantly deploy your application in minutes. So this basically means in like 2 to 5 minutes, you can actually talk to the AI and say, create this website for me, and it would create the website for you. And then you spend some time, marinating it, updating it, making it look better, basically upscaling it for it to look much more better till it's fully functional. So very, very cool stuff. So what are some of the key benefits of using AI to build our website? No heavy coding is required at all. And then we have rapid prototyping. So it's able to process, the whole back to back, steps for creating your website and handle that by itself. And then you can also even do collaboration. So most of this website, you can actually even have another person, you can invite them to your project, for your website you're building with AI, and have them even collaborate with you right there. So very, very interesting things. So let's kind of look at what the live workflow, looks like, right? You talk to the AI, you describe what you want your website to look like, your website idea, in simple plain English. You don't even have to speak any funny or, coding language or anything. It's just plain English. Hey, I would like to create a website for an e-commerce company that sells clothes, shoes, and this. I would like to have this page and that page, and then I would like to have customers be able to add items to their cart, and they'll be able to check out and place orders. You understand? And you go through that process like that. So you describe what you want, then the AI starts to generate the structure using different programming languages such as HTML, CSS, JS. In some cases, some use React, .js, yes, Angular.js, and the backend server could be MongoDB, it could be SQL Server, different things, okay? And then you can now, after it's created it the very first time, then you can now start editing and refining it in case you want more, more features within your website. And we call that typically prompt. So prompt is when, again, like I said earlier, it's like when you're giving the AI instructions of what you want it to do to your website, or when you're trying to even create an audio voice, you can give it prompt. So we call that prompt. And then it's able to finish that, and you just hit a button and say deploy this or publish it, and it publishes that website, and that website becomes live. So pretty cool stuff. So as we go down over here, there are some pro tips that can help us, benefit us in understanding how the AI works. So we have things like be very specific with your prompts, right? So build in iterations. So, if you're trying to build a big website, don't expect to type an essay and expect the AI to just get it done by one prompt, which is one command, instructions that you give it, right? So initially to build the website for you, and then as you go deeper, trying to perfect those website pages, you give it more prompt, and it starts to work on those things, progressively. Okay. Then test functionality continuously. So always test it, right? So if you buy a car, basically you'd want to test the car to make sure the car is working. So the same thing too, when you create your website, you want to test the functionalities in there to ensure that the website is working as expected. And then, you can always add real world features, such as payment systems, API, likes, comments, things like that, so it has all of those cool things. Okay. So before we go into, let's test this right now. So if I come over here, first of all, I can use ChatGPT to create my prompt, right? So I'm just going to think about something organically because I could have thought about this earlier, but I was like, no, I'm just going to think about it. So I'm going to first use ChatGPT to perfect, my instructions for the AI. And I'm going to even use voice, so I don't even really need to type. So ChatGPT has the voice feature, so I'll go over here.
Hey, it's great to meet you. How's your day going?
Let's come back. Yeah, let's
Hey,
see.
it's
I
great
might
to
need
meet
to
you.
log in
How's
over
your day
here.
going? I'm really looking forward to working on some cool stuff together.
Okay, so technically what has to happen over here is I actually have to be logged in. So that's fine. I'll go back to chat, and then this time around I'll just use this. So I'll come over here. I'll say I would like to create a simple retail website using an AI builder, or we can say an AI website builder. This website will have clothing, shoes, we can say accessories, and let's say ads for men and women. And it will have a checkout and add to cart for customers. Make that website. Give me a second over here. And add to cart. Customers, make the website. Sophisticated, modern, nice scroll effects, and user-friendly. Provide instructions based on this that I can provide to the AI website builder. Furthermore, I can say make it brief and simple. So let's look at that. Let's look at some corrections over here. Okay, that is okay. Modern. You're going to figure this out. I don't really need to correct that. The AI understands what is going on over there, but let's just correct that. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this in case I lose that detail. Let's see that. Okay, perfect. This is good. So website instructions, type of website, e-commerce, products, this and that, design style, sophisticated, features. If I want, I can even say make it a dark theme. That's the website will be like dark instead of it being, much more brighter or light. Right. So we have that. Now we're going to go to this website called Replit. So Replit is a company. So to easily go to Replit is simply replit.com. You're going in there, the home page is right there. You create an account if you want to, especially if you want to keep your project. You can see I have one over here called ChronoCube. So I'm going to come over here and I can just throw this in here. And I can say I would like a website. I'd like you to create a website. Oops, actually, give me a second. Go up to the top. I can just hit enter and then let it do the work right there. So give it some seconds. So it starts looking at the information, starts building your database for you. I'm building a full e-commerce clothing store with everything you described. So we give it a moment. Now, while that is working, let's go take a look at Diagram GPT. So this one is used to like create like diagrams, right? So let's say I wanted to create a diagram of how a retail company's process would be. When we sell our product, I can come over here as well too. Over here, it has a few features. So over here, you can do auto detect for those who are in the cloud, IT field. You can also basically say, yes, I want a cloud architecture. In this place, I'm going to say I want a flow chart. And I can load a preset if I have a specific target, so over here, I can even say e-commerce queue, but I don't want to go into this because it brings in what we call SQL. And for some who are not tech savvy, I don't want us to get confused over there. Let's do this one, support desk call flow. I think everyone can resonate with that. So when I select that, it is giving me the information, a support desk flow, so create a standard call flow general support used during normal operations. So it's giving me an example of what that will look like. So this is going to be a little bit too much. So I'm going to take out some of it. Let's see. So you can see things like callers get a menu, I call volume, calls are answered. Let's just leave it this way. Sometimes if you give it too much information, your diagram can look very complex. But for now, let's just leave it this way. So over here, I can simply hit the generate button over here and it's going to create the diagram for me. And sometimes it's going to ask extra questions. So over here, it's asking because it wants to understand more. When should the high volume call flow be activated? I can say when no technician is available, not bad. Sometimes it can be when things are busy too. What action should follow after that? Prioritize ticket based on time. Okay. So you answer those few questions based on whatever option you want. You hit generate, and then it starts bringing everything live, and you can see it's saying some cool stuff, saying bringing this, live and stuff. So you can see that creating. Perfect. All right, so that's complete. So thankfully it was not too complex. So you can see the diagram right there. Actually, it's a little bit complex. So you can see how long that is. And so the more you ask, you can always readjust. It's actually still working. So you can always readjust, your requirements to say, okay, I don't want this, I want it to be very brief and simple, and then it's going to adjust to that. But this is actually nice that is showing us this very complex thing. So the incoming call is the very first thing that happens, and then it looks at the full architecture of what is going to eventually happen, based on the requirements we gave it, earlier on. So it's giving us all of this. And so the beautiful thing about this is when you hit save and edit the diagram, then they ask you to create an account so that you can edit it properly. You can have that stored in your account, and then you can always go back to change it at any point in time, and you can download a copy of that architecture or diagram. So a lot of cool stuff. Let's do one more. Let's see if I can do one more over here. Typically, it gives you, once you have a free account, there is a maximum of diagrams you can create. So let's see. I'm just going to restart the page. And so just before we leave, you can see the full diagram and architecture over here. You can see you can copy that. And so it gives us that full diagram. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Perfect. So it shows the whole process of the incoming call, routes to, support queues, technicians available, they answer the call. Otherwise, it goes through this process. Again, these are like other things like high value call flow, right? People having password reset issues, software access, and things like that. Let's quickly do a very simple one. Let's come over here. Take that back. Let's go back. And then easy way to find this online, you can just say diagram GPT. Shows you that under a company called Eraser, you select it. It shows you your screen. I'm going to come over here. In this case, I'm going to say cloud architecture. I'm going to say create simple 5-step flow for an Azure VM connected to a resource group. The VM has VNets, subnets, NSG, that's a public IP address, and Bastion. Simple. Like the diagram, very basic, simple, and straight to the point. All right, let's hit generate. It most likely will ask me some few questions again. Should the flow illustrate the process deploying the VM and its resources move to the deployment process? None. No. None. Generate diagram. And so once you do this and you create it, you're able to, remember, edit it, but you need to sign it to an account that you create, and then it will allow you to sort of edit and then regenerate that process. So let's see. Okay, I think it might be hanged. Let's see what's going on. Are there any? I'm not sure why it's quite hanging up over here. Okay, let's pause on this. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but let's come back over here. See, perfect. Okay, so for our website, we already have an example right there. So you can see for our website, it's created a simple web, page for us over here. You can see shop women, shop for men. You come over here, you see it telling you these are the details for the women, and then you see it also showing us as well to these are new arrivals. So pretty cool. You can see just how powerful that is. Just with one prompt, I've created a full working website. Now it's not fully functional, so you have to do some other details, right? Like your contact us, you have to tell it, okay, when they click contact us, make sure our phone number, I want to use this phone number for shipping and returns, I want, these details in there for them. For FAQ, change this information from this to that. So say, for example, let's click on FAQ, right? So see when I click on FAQ, nothing really happens. So it's created the background for us. And so we need to now go in there. You can see when I click on that man right there, it's showing us different things, right? Gender, man, then what category of things are you looking for? If you say arts, it tells us no resource. So we have to tell it for the arts, so you prompt it, you can come over here, you can say for the art, I want you to put in this product, these are the images I want, and things like that. And so pretty cool, you can use the plus button here to add images for the specific clothes that you're trying to sell, so you're trying to sell fragrances, you're trying to sell jewelries, you're trying to sell air wigs, you're trying to sell books, you're creating this website for tutoring, so you can tutor people, or you're selling books, anything you want to do, you can literally do it. And then, you see all the other options there. You have collection, then you have the women's side here as well too. So a lot of cool things you can really do with this. And then, at the end of the day, once you're done and you want to publish this live, you can hit the publish button, it publishes it live, but then you have to work with a domain. This websites, they have domains they can assist you with, so that you release it for it to be not just replit.dev all of this, but an official website name. But the good news is, even before you do that, you can always publish this live. It's just going to come with what we call a custom domain. So instead of it being .com, it could be like replit.this or so and so, so such situations to you connected. So pretty cool stuff. You have your preview page over here, which is where we are. Then, if you want to look at the database details, it tells you, you are using this development database and you've used just this little space out of the free 20 gig it is giving you. Okay. So a lot of very, very cool stuff right there. All right. So now that I've seen that, let us now look at another topic. Okay. So right here, we talked about the AI and using it to build a website, and we've seen a few examples right there. Let's look at some other things, and we're still going to come back to play with some AI stuff. Let's look at connecting with angel investors, right? Angel investors are very important, especially for people who are starting a company that might require some capital and they want people to invest so that they can really kick off this business and be successful in it. So, basically our investors, the angel investors, are people that can invest in our business, put in some capitals into our business sometimes, depending on how the business deal goes, you might want to give them some shares, in the company and say, okay, if this goes well, I'll give you like 10% share of the company. So you become a shareholder, there are different variances to it. So the investors, they fund the ideas that, they would want to solve real problems, right? Or something that customers or clients are interested in rather. They focus on value, scalability, and clarity. So when you're coming to investors, you want to make sure they are pitching your ideas well. You have your PowerPoint presentation, you have your full idea architecture. You're able to be confident and speak with them and let them know the business idea and the reason why your business is important and why it will benefit them. You understand? And how it's going to generate, revenues in the near future. So very, very important, focusing on value of that business, how it's going to scale up, how it's going to continue to get better, because businesses don't just flourish just from day one, right? They grow. And so you see all of the billionaires in the world, they didn't just start from one day, right? They invested in their time, had a lot of discussions with angel investors for the most part, and things flourished for them. So that's very, very important to be aware of. So that's one very important thing with connecting with angel investors. Then when we look at content creation workflow, for those of us who are interested in content creation, there's a certain formula you have to follow, right? Number one, you want to write your script. You just saw how I did that with ChatGPT. Then, for example, you want to generate voice. So we're going to look at some of this other cool AI stuff. So then you want to create like your visual. So say, for example, you're creating a content, right? And you don't even want to use your voice, or you don't want to even use yourself as the video. You can basically use all of these other tools out there. We're looking at one earlier on that is called Midjourney. we're going to be coming to it. Where is it? Right here? Actually over here. So that's mid-journey right there. And so you can use that to create. So we're going to play with these things, in the next few minutes. But let's head over here. So when we look at this, then you can sync your audio and video we've talked about already. Then you can publish it on any platform such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So pretty cool stuff right there. Then we're talking about how to find angel investors, right? Because we're talking about earlier on. So you can use LinkedIn networking, right? You build a very reputable LinkedIn profile, and then you connect to all these angel investors. It's pretty easy to look for them online. We always say the people you follow determine the other recommendations that will be sent to you. So if you're following some angel investors already, even LinkedIn will start suggesting or recommending other great angel investors or people of similar, accounts, right? To, for you to follow. And that's where you connect. And then you can always look up online for names of people like that and look for them online on LinkedIn, approach them with an idea, you know, it's and then networking, basically networking, so that's why I say LinkedIn networking, target investors within your niche. Then startup platforms, you understand, learn from startup platforms such as AngelList, Crunchbase, see how they connected, try to connect with people like that, to look for them online, send them a message, see if they will respond back, and then just work within your community as well to see people who are doing well, and then pitch that idea to you. It might be someone from church, it might be even for someone from a network dinner or things like that. And then you have things similar to what I just said, such as tech events, going to tech events, and pitching your ideas, you understand, to people right there. And then watching out for your referrals and, warm introductions. So pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So how do you approach investors, right? You have to have a clear pitch deck, right? Have a clear plan, have a clear blueprint, have a clear presentation, have a clear practice of how you're going to present yourself to these people. You understand? And so once you're doing that, also make sure that your business is also well laid out so that you can show some sort of statistics or traction. You understand? Show the amount of users that can be gained, the amount of revenue that can be gained, especially over time. Very, very important. Make sure you don't overtalk. Keep your message simple, but yet very powerful. You understand? So your quick pitch formula is: this is the problem we're trying to solve. This is how we're going to solve it. That's the solution. And then this is how we're going to market it. And then this is how we're going to gain traction and progress. You understand? In terms of revenue and solving that problem and gaining more clients. You understand? And then, ask questions and respond to it. Okay. So pretty straightforward. So that ends the this whole full simple presentation on the TED Talk for today. So let's jump into some practical fun. So over here, for example, we're looking at some things right here, right? If I look at this beautiful thing over here, if I click on it, it tells me, you see that it created it just based off this simple information over here: X-ray, flower, cows, IO. Now, say for example, I wanted to create something, and some of these things, they give you what we call credits. So, so when you're using some of these AI platforms, they'll say, okay, you start off with 25 free credits or 30 free credits. Then when you use the free credits, then you need to buy more credits. And then the more you give the computer more prompts, the more the computer takes away those credits. Okay, so yeah, just letting you know, it's not everything. It's not like fully free. It's not like I can come here and just use things. But with ChatGPT, that's kind of possible. But then with ChatGPT pays, you have to pay. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit of extra money to get like more, I would say, high level content, or enterprise level content, and not have any issues when traffic is really high, and also to you won't have any limitations. So that's one of the things. So I can go over here, I can use the create button over here, and you can see this, by example, it's showing me some cool stuff here. I can come over here, and you can see right now it's telling me to join now, but I'll just look around a bit, and let's see if it allows me to use that, because I have a different account that I use for this. I actually use it. So pretty much you type in what you want over here. So it's telling me subscribe to start creating, but I already logged into a different account, so probably will take a while for me to log into another account. But basically, as an example over here, you take something like this, copy it, so that's a prompt right there to say, I want to create an image, an award-winning image of Israelites gazing at the fair above the tabernacle. You understand? And you see what it creates this lovely feature for me right here. And it gives me different options. Then you can go around and pick which one you like, and you can even download it. You can even prompt it to change it much more. So you have so many features over here that you can sort of play around with. You can see this beautiful one right here. Let's look at that one. So to create this, the command or the text or prompt that was used to create it says, cinematic theme, surreal. The cat is swimming in the sea with fantastical creatures surrounding it, close up shot of cats, sky background, and you can see. So you can create this and you can see that looks very real. You understand? If I didn't even know better, I would thought that was like a real cat right there. But then that might get me suspicious with that guy flying in the air. I'll be like, fishes don't fly in the air, so that's not reasonable. So you see that? Then let's look at the Adobe Express. So over here with Adobe Express, there you can get fantastic things. You can remove backgrounds you don't want from a picture. You can convert different images to different other types of image formats. You can test format videos, caption videos here and update them. There's so many great things over here. You can create flyers, you can create posters, you can create videos, you can create an Instagram story, and it gives you different templates. Let's look at the business card as an example. Let's click on that. And welcome to the class, others. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Okay, so okay, so Talkpay, I believe, ask, can you use, is it free? Yes. So basically, yeah, that's a good question. So some of these things, like we said, they are free, but then, they have limitations. So for example, when we look at this as an example, you see some business cards they'll show you here. This tells me this is premium. So that means, I have to be subscribed to Adobe to utilize this. So majority of the time, they allow you to use those tools free at first, but it has a limit so that at least you know what you're using. And then if it works well for you, then you can subscribe. Right. So hopefully that answers your question. So yes, it's most of them to some extent type of free, but some of them after a while they charge you, or especially if you want more nice features. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so okay, perfect, definitely, no doubt at all. So over here, if I come right here, I can see different cards, right? So I can start searching for different types of cards. So I can say view all, then it shows me different cards. Then if I want, let's look down and see a cool one. Let's say maybe this, for example, and select. Then I can also use this filter to say I want to just see as far as the price is, I want the free one. You see that? So talk about as an example, this is the difference. You can select free or premium. I can say, oh, I just want to see the free ones. So then it filters that down for me. Then let's go around and see. So I can select this. Once I select it, it shows up over here. Perfect. Then I can start editing it, right? If this was supposed to be marketing manager, I can come over here. I can say marketing manager. So I can do anything. There are other extra features within this area that I can add. I can make this bold or italic. I can come over here. I can say this should be italic. You see that? I can change the color to red. So I can do a lot of things in here. And then eventually when I want to be done with that, I can hit the download button. And then it will even ask me what format do I want it in. These are different picture formats, so I can even put it in PDF. I'll say PNG is okay, pretty good one. I can change the quality, but if you change it again to make it more higher, this is quality is good enough, but if you change it, you can see the premium is waiting right there for you to, say, okay, you have to subscribe to, get the size bigger than this size right here. But that is okay. So it's optimizing, almost complete, and done, just like that. So then We talked about this already. Then let's look at the voice as before we round up. So over here with the voice over video, right? So over here, if you want to create a content or you have a business presentation and you don't even want to use your voice, or you're a YouTube content creator, you want to use special voices, anything you want to do for any presentation, you can simply come over here. You can see at the landing page of this website that is called 11labs.io. You have your own page. So let's look at the home page first before we come back to voices and text to speech. You can see there's a lot of things. So the text to speech basically means I'm putting in a text command and I'm expecting it to give me the audio response. So you can see even from the home page, it's showing you some cool stuff over here. It's saying the latest from them, James Brown. We can look at this guy. We can click on it.
The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we do not understand.
You see that? So that way, if you want to use someone like this, you're learning from their accent or their voice to see, okay, this is the voice I like to use in case I want to create a textual information into speech. I can go over here.
Okay, so most AI voices are like too smooth. You can tell it's a bot. Mine keeps the natural messiness, so they sound like an actual person.
Yeah, so majority of the majority of these things are, actual real people whose voice are studied and they use AI to create them into what? Into voices. Let's quickly take a look at something. So let's take a copy of this. And I'm going to use this to create an AI voice. So let's go. So I'll go to text to speech. Then I'll see different voice options over here. I can play them to first see if I like the voice.
Your voice, reimagined. Turn whispers into symphonies. One recording, infinite possibilities. Speak once, echo forever.
Okay, that's not bad. I believe that was that guy. Let's try it again.
Your voice, reimagined.
Okay, yeah, that's that guy. So now I like that voice. So I can just go over here. I can paste this in here and I'll allow it to generate this into a voice for me. So let's see the generate speech right here. So you can see over here, at first, it has 10,000 credits remaining. Give me a second. Okay, so someone was asking a question. So there's, yes, so definitely you can also create your own. Someone asked a question, can you create your own custom voice that you would want it? Yeah, the answer is yes. That's what we were looking at in the home page. I think David was the one asking that. So you can definitely do that in the home page. So it's a matter of like learning these things, going in here, seeing what they're all about, and using them. But yes, you can also create a totally different type of custom speech, and the AI will help you to create that. Okay. All right. So let's go. So over here, as I was saying, right now it gives me 10,000 credits that I have remaining, right? So if I generate this speech as an example, it can take like, based on the amount of text, it might take like 30 credits or 50 credits or something like that, or 100 credits. So let's go ahead and generate the speech as we round up. And please let me know if you have any questions. You can throw it in the chats. Yeah.
Website instructions, type, e-commerce retail website. Products, clothing, shoes, accessories, hats for men and women. Design. Style, sophisticated, modern, clean, user-friendly features.
Yep.
Product catalog with categories for men and women. Product pages with images, descriptions, and prices. Add to cart functionality, and how are you? Hope your day is going good.
Perfect. So you see it has converted that to to text, to rather from text to voice. Okay. So so that's how to go about it. So you can play it.
Hello there. Website instructions, type, e-commerce retail website. Products.
So once you generate it, you can play it, to see if you like the feedback, you understand, and then you can continue giving more instructions in there. Then once you feel like you like it, you can download it right there. Okay. So we'll round up right now. Stop recording, and if you have more questions, once we stop the recording, I'll be able to answer those questions for you. Okay. But hopefully everybody enjoyed the TED Talk, and hopefully everybody enjoyed the whole information about getting angel investors, knowing how to connect with them, knowing how to link with them, connect to them, using AI for different things such as websites, creating voice over video, creating video content generation, creating flyers, and all of this cool stuff, and even merging every one of them together. Okay, and so that's that website we built earlier on, pretty cool one. And so looking forward to another TED Talk section as we round it up, and then we'll round it up over here. I'll stop recording, and if you have more questions, feel free to unmute your mic or ask any questions. Okay.